Good day everyone, classmates and Miss Sheila. So, our group was assigned to discuss a new topic for today. And please lend to us your ear for some time. And without further ado, let's start this discussion. Okay, so the first topic that we're going to tackle for this day is the different traits and skills of a leader in a public organization. So to start, let me define to you first the meaning of leadership. Leadership is a vital management function that helps to direct an organization resources for improved efficiency and the achievements of goals. Effective leaders provide clarity of the purpose, motivate, and guide the organization to realize its mission. So for this one, the leadership saying or stating the fact that being a leader, you are the one who carry your group or the organization that you've been leading to. The success of your group basically comes within your hand, and also with the how you direct your people. So with this, I will be sharing with you 5 skills and traits of a leader in public organization. So the first thing in line is number 1 is good leaders motivate and encourage others. So the definition for this one is that public employees are often faced with increased workloads and added stress as a result of declining resources. Government leaders are then tasked with the challenge of motivating and encouraging their staff in this bleak environment. But good leaders can shift employees' attitude for the better without promising compensation-driven incentives or leveraging fear. Instead, good leaders create working with people who can motivate and inspire you is one of the reasons why people get so attached to the work. Even if the place was not as good as they expected, as long as an employee enjoys the company, that employee will stay for long in that specific field. Okay, so the second traits in line is good leaders communicate clearly and listen attentively. Good leaders must be able to communicate a vision and interact productively with a diverse and ever-changing workforce, and criticism in a way that inspires action. And one of the most powerful ways to inspire action, and conversely one of the hardest, is to listen. When leaders listen to the needs and challenges of their community sincerely, they can respond effectively and bring out the greatest change for the group. Okay, every employee wishes to have these traits for their boss, to understand both of their sides whenever there is a need to communicate. To understand someone is better than hearing them without compromising their concern, maybe for themselves or for the or their concern for the company. The third in line is good leaders are trustworthy. Trustworthiness is built upon integrity and character. People trust and follow leaders when those leaders exude the type of behaviors they value themselves. Building trust can take time, and is no easy there is no easy task, but it is a valuable effort to make it sincere. When people trust leaders and value their integrity, they tend to be more open to the new ideas and exude a willingness to try for every field. Okay, having this kind of trait is one of the most important when you are a leader that leads that leads an industry or a specific group. Being trustworthy can create a huge positive effect on both of the company and also on the group that you are involved to. Also, it can make the group become as one when they have this kind of boss or a leader that they can trust or lean on for their specific concern. Fourth is good leaders think critically. Good public governance requires good leaders who are effective decision makers in the policy process, solving significant issues and affecting the great change. Significant issues are requires carefully consideration and analysis of the evidence before formulating a decision. So, having a strong analytical problem solving and critical thinking skills is essential for this kind of job. Okay, every leader must possess this trait because being a leader, thinking critically is like putting yourselves in the shoe of the others, and also for the what can your group be, what will be the result of your group for that specific kind of thing. You must always needs to think for not just for yourself but for the result of for the others also. Last thing in line is that good leaders are resilient. In the world of public policy and governance, the only constant is change. Budget get cut, resources shrink, people come and go, but leaders must be able to respond accordingly and continue to produce results amidst an ever-evolving landscape. Good leaders assume these challenges and develop alternative solutions. They remain positive during difficult times, and most importantly, they encourage confidence in their employees, so as they too will remain effective at the most crucial time. Being resilient, it is always on top. You as a leader must always have an option. Upon creating a plan, there must always be something in your mind that can provide to them as plan B whenever the first plan that you've made was not go through successfully. Okay, so that was the 5 traits and skills of a leader that must have upon leading in a public organization. Leading is a challenging in every environment, and leading in the public sector can be even more so. And when a public service leader holds multiple roles, that environment can become increasingly complicated. But just a reminder, as always, let us bear in mind that the work of a public servant is never done, but the work of a public servant is never done, but it does need to be done well. And great work and great leadership often go hand in hand. So when it comes to success, good leaders tend to share these 5 key qualities across the board that make them both competent manager and effective public servants.
Once again, good morning and God bless. I am Joname V. Pulido, and the topic that I'll be going to present to you this morning is about the different bureaucrats and how does bureaucrats differ according to philosopher James F. Byrd. So firstly, let me define bureaucrats. So automatically, bureaucrat is a member of bureaucracy. It is the person with an official position in the government responsible for the policy, people's needs, and carry out the decisions of the president and members of Congress. So how about bureaucracy? So we already heard a lot about bureaucracy, which is the administration or the administrative of the government with hierarchy structures and positions. So why does philosopher James F. Byrd insisted that government bureaucrats are different? So as you can see on the illustration, the verb are written in capital letters because James F. Byrd wanted to insist that bureaucrats are different, because when it comes to public people or the ordinary people like us, we often see bureaucrats as complicated and the impressions are mostly negative. They are prone to criticism because of over excessive rules, regulations they implemented, and a lot of paperwork. So in a situation, for example, for the renewal of contract, job application, because we're already living in a modern type of living or lifestyle nowadays, people prefer to use or send paper requirements through online application and submission. That's why They see government bureaucrats as complicated and time-consuming. But philosopher James F. Guyot wanted us to see the advantage of bureaucracy and the roles of bureaucrats and not just consider them as red tape. So when we say red tape, it is an idiom that refers to the excessive rules or regulations that are implemented in the government. So James F. Guyot sees bureaucrats as not just an ordinary people, but as an ideal type of official occupying a defined position in a rational government. So they carried out tasks to provide services for the government and run and manage this smoothly. So we cannot just criticize government bureaucrats because they are not just an ordinary people we know. They are not just the paper-pushing desk clerks, or because they perform a wide variety of tasks, because they also fight fires, obviously known as firefighters. They also teach, or teachers, and the one who monitors the federal candidates in raising money. So they're not just a bunch of people who are hungry of power, because they are the people behind the government policies, education, and even the healthcare administration of our country. So that's how James Guyot wanted us to see the government bureaucrats. Thank you.
Brain skill management. Brains are what business runs on. We need more people out there showing how to use them better. Larry Prusak and Ernest Young. We have learned more about how the human brain functions in the last quarter century than we have in all out of months previous history of research on this topic. Coupled with those learned in the time period about organizational decision making, we are now poised to make major breakthrough in how access, organize, and develop this human capital asset in ways never dreamed of before. So sinasabi dito na this article summarize what we now know about productivity using human brain skill in organization, decision making, and it will describe how a process called brain skill management o tinatawag na BSM and has been used to cultivate and mine these skills to enhance managerial, organizational decision making in a wide variety of applied settings. The paper concludes with an agenda for action, which is like produce even more productive techniques for cultivating this human capital asset.
Creativity is originality, but it's more than that. It is bringing something into the world that is relative, new, and possibly revolution in its wide circle of effect, like atomic fission or understanding the circulation of blood in the human system. Creativity goes all the time. Innovation is sometimes the result of accident, as the discovery of penicillin is said to have been. Discovery may be the accomplishment of the little educated as well as the servant of the poor as well as the rich. While creativity occurs in every nation, creativity is not always fully accepted, or it might even be discouraged and punished by sanctions of various kinds. In some countries, it forbidden to draw the human form. For instance, because it is insult to a jealous God. What is creativity? One reason for this is the different bit of knowledge required factors in combination. The difference between painting and dance compared with mathematics and Einstein theory, for example, or the ability to do embroidery or etchings, or the ability to tell story and paint word image. Still another explanation is the creativity being individual and highly personal require much self-analysis when assessing the relative significance of factors that make up creativity.
Successful leadership in local government programs here boosts country productivity Initiatives, Helen Dillevay. Communicate clearly why change is necessary. We were asking employees to change everything. How about they feel about work, what they did at work, to whom they reported at work. Our approach was not radical. Was that we put the package together, combining a high quality employee newsletter and award-winning monthly video. A consistent to change to get support not just from our employee but also from our board. Members interest groups at the community at large. Emphasis on improvements each department made. Partners in progress a political group. And the Intersob Steering Committee, which was our public-private partnership experience. Although we experienced mixed success working with the private sector of some projects. Develop the required skills to be successful at the strategic leadership level, training beyond skill building. Fast forward training and coaching gives people a science-based approach, think, build, manage stress, and achieve success. Fulfillment in your life, coaching workshops, leadership development to the required skill to be successful at the strategic leadership level. Helen Dillevay said, to make the difference you have to be willing to take a risk.
Notes on the Governmental Executive, His Roles and His Methods by Donald C. Stone. Governmental Executive, what they do and don't do and what they should and should do have received their full measure of popular attention in recent years. They have been pulled apart and discussed pro and con. They have been demolished vocally. Sometimes they have been given the stamp of approval. More often than not, however, this oral onslaught have failed to take cognizance of the essential character of the executive job in the large establishments. In the public press and even in the textbook, such phrases as delegation of authority, sharply defined responsibilities, elimination of duplication and overlapping are worked over repeatedly to the point of weariness.